Welcome. Today's meeting's link will be in the Google Classroom. It's right here, but what we did when we first came in, and you can add to it, and this will count for your attendance, is in the chat box. Please sign in and then go to the Padlet link and make a note of what is working and what is more challenging with mentoring and or your candidate. Please be sure to put your name on it so that I know that you visited the website, or the Padlet website, and added to it, because it doesn't automatically put your name on it. This is the February new mentor meeting. It was presented on February 26, 2024, and this is the makeup video. I did a recording of the meeting, but there were so many I was too distracted. I could not in all good conscience post that for you. So this is what you're getting, is the makeup video right here. The agenda was, we did the connecting activity, the mentor Padlet with the collaboration log style. The discussion topics and tools for today are Google Classroom, candidate submissions, classroom management, lesson planning, time management, and then wrapping it up and giving you an opportunity to ask questions. The Padlet prompt, what was going well with your mentoring or your induction experience with your candidate, or what might be some challenges that you might be having. As you can see, there were a little bit of both, things that people liked that were going well and some things that they found challenging. So if any of those you agree with or you are finding challenging or going well, you can please put a like. You can like it, okay? Just put your name on it and like it. We have a delta for challenges, and it doesn't mean that things are not going well, but the delta just means that things need to be changed up. So when you do the Padlets, it's really kind of cool, or I like it anyway. You can have it presented in a slideshow format. So if you do the link or the QR code, you will get the slideshow of what was already done, and then you can, if you want, then go and add to it. Okay? The first thing I want to talk about is the candidate's Google Classroom. One of the things, it was funny, was one of the things that was a challenge was that some people found Google Classroom to be confusing. And it's funny because I get responses that are either saying, I love the way it's organized, or I don't understand it. So what I want to do is go through it with you quickly so that you can have a better idea of the thinking behind the format of it, and then also help you explain it to your candidate if they need some help with it. The way Google Classroom is set up, it is somewhat parallel to the format and structure of the ILP. But if you look at it, the very first section is just program information and getting started, and it's all about the program. The second section is the fall inquiry cycle, and the third section is the winter inquiry cycle, and the fourth section is the spring inquiry cycle. It is a bit counterintuitive because of the numbering. So the fall inquiry cycle, all those items start with a 2 because it's the second section. And all the winter inquiry cycle things start with a 3, and all the spring ones start with a 4. So that's why it's kind of confusing. There are professional development opportunities in Google Classroom, some examples, and then there's some additional resources also. Here you will see the Year 1 Google Classroom, and this is the stream page, and this is where I will post information. So make sure that your candidate is checking the streaming section. It should be forwarded to your inbox in your Outlook mail, but sometimes it isn't. The classwork section is where all these different sections are. So this is the first one, program information, getting started, and you'll see it has all the information about the program. You have a non-discrimination policy, a grievance appeal process, and a place to where they can find out about getting university credits for work done in induction. The second one and the third and the fourth, scrolling kind of fast, are very similar. Sometimes there's a nuance to an inquiry cycle, but not much. But you'll see that you click on it and it opens up and there's the directions. People have a hard time reading sometimes, I think. So this goes in order and it is labeled similarly to the ILP. One of the things I wanted to point out was professional learning opportunities. This is something that the teachers do on their own. So if you're getting bogged down in things, this is where they can go to have a week of independent study. As with the focus group week that I meet with them, you don't need to meet with them that week. And if you want to tell them that this week their job is to do the survey, then you don't need to be there for that. In this professional learning opportunities, I wanted to point out that there is a choice board right here, so that if they cannot think of anything to do, there's ideas here that they can pick one of these if they wanted to do one of these independently. Or if you come up with something separate or unique for them that is perfectly acceptable, just make sure they use one of these tools. The professional learning reflection, they can do this on their own, or the veteran teacher observation, they can use that on their own. Whoops. So that's where that is. The things that they do here, when we go to grades, you'll see they're graded. Like, it takes a while for this to come up because it's a big file. So anyway, all their grades are in here. And this is what I see. Okay? So that's kind of how that goes right there. So this picture, going back to this slide, you'll see on the ILP, you have the fall inquiry cycle, the winter inquiry cycle, and the spring inquiry cycle. And this is how it looks to me in the gradebook. And it creates a digital portfolio, and you can go through and read all their selections or submissions, and it will give you a picture of what their year was like, the journey that they went through with all the things that they did in induction. The ILP is where it's all, recorded, and that's what I showed you a couple slides ago. But I wanted to show you too, this is a sample of one. And one of the things we do have is we have the co-assessment levels that are identified here, where they were at. So you'll see applying, 1.4 applying, 1.5 applying, then an inquiry question for this inquiry cycle, then an action plan on what things that this person is thinking ahead of time and thinking that they might want to do, and then the evidence and the descriptions of the meetings. And then at the end, the teacher does a reflective survey for that inquiry cycle. Some teachers or some mentors like to link these so that it goes straight to the tools that were used. So that's another good thing to do. You don't have to, but it makes it easy when we want to look at their ILP, or if things are not in order in their Google Classroom submissions, it's a cheat sheet. It helps us go back and forth that way. The Mentor Google Classroom is similar, but you have some extra sections. So yours is sort of parallel in structure to the candidates. The program information, yours will show right here. You have the main page with the streaming and the announcements, and then the classwork page that you have. You'll see the new information up here, like the Mentor ILP, Cluster 4 Professional Development, Activity Resource, CSTP activities. So those are things that I just put up there that are, hopefully you'll see them when you first open it up. Then you have the program information, just like the candidates do. Fall inquiry cycle, winter inquiry cycle, spring inquiry cycle. And then down here we have mentor MOUs and monthly mentor meetings, where you have the directions and the things that we do are right here. Again, you can click on it and open it. Communication and technology, the mentor activity log. I need you to be sure that you're doing this every month or every week after you meet with your candidates about what they did and what you did with them. This is my way of being able to provide evidence for the stipend that you're getting, and also for the state that you're meeting weekly, because that's what the standards say. The Zoom room link, we have all our meetings at the same Zoom room link. It's right here. And then here you have tools, the forms that are used to document the candidate's evidence practice. And you can, this one is linked, so you can click on it and it'll take you right to the tool. And then there's a folder here that has all of them in it also. Some people like to just copy the folder or copy this list and put it on their desktop so it's easy for them. You don't have to though. Sample letter for introducing yourself, a back to school checkoff list, Go React training recording, some Go React resources, PD opportunities. These are similar to what the candidates have. And then the district vision is asked for on the ILP. I think I've written it on the ILP so that you don't even have to go looking here for it. But the district vision. And then these are things that I need to either post, or they're old ones that I'm archiving, like the TPA, where is it? Subplan ideas, TPA and RECA resources. They don't need that, the TPA stuff anymore. So I have it there. But so if you are not familiar with the Mentor Google Classroom, please go there and look. But remember, the candidates upload stuff. You don't need to upload things except for things like your mentor fall inquiry cycles surveys. So we have the surveys for the mentors also. The MOU, the mentor MOU needs to be uploaded. Make sure you do that. This is where you can check the monthly mentor meeting schedule. I try to take attendance there. Sometimes I forget, after each mentor meeting. The mentor activity log link is right there. It talks to you about it. And, all these things right here. Okay? So hopefully that makes it a little, the explanation of how it's set up is a little bit more clear for you there. One of the things that I got feedback on and that people wanted more help with is how to mentor for certain situations. And these are the situations that the candidates indicated that they were struggling with themselves. So I did a poll everywhere poll at the winter focus meeting for the candidates, and these were all the topics. And the topics that came out the most needy, as you can see by far, behavior and classroom management was a huge one, and time management. And then also, these are all kind of lesson planning, integrating technology into lessons, creating engaging lessons in the classroom, understanding different learning styles. Those are all could be clumped into, lesson planning sort of things. So what I wanted to go over with you next was to talk to you about how to mentor for these situations and some tools and some resources that are there for you. So in referring and talking about classroom management, here the district has some district resources. The school site counselors are there for PBIS and MTSSB. So there are resources. The websites, the district website has help with that too. And then also you can talk to them about resetting classroom behavior norms and expectations. So one of the things to do is to talk to your teacher about is that when they come back from breaks or when the class is just out of control is just to take a time out and say, okay, this is what we need to go back and we need to talk about and reset those classroom behavior norms and expectations. You can use observation tools in induction. So if a teacher's having a problem, you can say, let me come in and observe you. And it is not necessarily one of your required observations. It can be you going in and saying, okay, I'm going to look at how you're working with your English learners or just your overall lesson and see how you're managing the delivery of content. Do you incorporate strategies that facilitate positive classroom behavior within your lesson, right? You can use observation tools for that and then go back and debrief. Or a wonderful tool that we have access to is the Go React. Have them record themselves, which they need to be doing anyway for one of the observations. Have them record themselves and then sit down and talk to them about what they're seeing, or have them look at it and then do a reflection on it, because it's an objective third set of eyes. So it's totally not you saying, well, I saw this, I saw this, I saw this. It's just right there and they can see for themselves. You can use prompts and conversation starters, such as, what did you notice here? What were you thinking? Not what were you thinking, but what was it that you were trying to convey when when you made the statement, sort of a thing. Those reflections that you give back to them are grounded in evidence because it's right in front of them. Observing veteran teachers also, if you need to reestablish, if the new teachers need to reestablish norms, they need to recognize that sometimes veteran teachers also do that. There's times when veteran teachers have to take a step back and say, okay, let's pause and let's talk about what we're doing here. But having a new teacher go in and watch a veteran teacher specifically with the idea of looking for classroom management strategies is sometimes very enlightening to the new teachers. I know when I was a new teacher, and even when I was a veteran teacher, I learned a lot from watching other people, and not necessarily people that had been teaching longer than me. I had a substitute, a long-term sub, come in, and she created a whole token economy classroom management tool that I used for the whole rest of the time I was in the classroom. And it's funny because her daughter is now a teacher. So it's kind of funny how things like that go around. So in classroom management and referring and reflecting on classroom management, here's some things and some strategies that you might use with your candidates if you need to help them think about what's happening in the classroom, especially as we go into spring. We'll have a break, then we've got testing. So it's going to be a busy next couple of months. And being able to have a handle on the class is really important this time of year. Time management was something that candidates were concerned with. Also mentors, as far as managing meeting times. But with candidates talking about time management, you can do backwards planning with them, long-term, short-term, like long-term the whole year, right? What else do they have left going on at the end of the month, at the end of the year? And then look backwards at the calendar. What days are taken? What days are we off? What days are we early out? What days do we have assemblies? What days do we have field trips? X those out, and then the teacher will be able to see, oh, I don't have that many days just for actual lessons for teaching. So have them look at that. You can also break things down into chunks, looking at monthly, weekly, and daily planning. and planning ahead. And a lot of them don't do it. They just go, I'm going to do what's next in the textbook or whatever. But have them think about where they're going. Okay, that will be helpful with them. Let's see, I'm looking at it. These are other things that you can talk to them about as far as management strategies, formative and cumulative assessments. Where are they going to plug those in? Okay, so if they look at the big picture, where do those things get plugged in? I know you have the PLCs, but they're also doing formative and cumulative assessments, ongoing throughout the year also. More just-in-time support and lifelong learners. Oh, talk to them about that. So just-in-time support, and remind them that they are lifelong learners. When you go through induction, just like when you're done with your preliminary program, you had induction, just like that, when you're done with induction, that doesn't mean you stop learning as an educator. Talk to them about where they're planning on being in 2 years and 3 years and 5 years. Do they want to become teacher leaders? Voluntarily or involuntarily, whether they become department chairs or grade level chair. Sometimes, those are also teacher leader roles that they might become interested in, right? So those are things for them to think about as they're moving forward and looking at. Those are really long-term goals, and then yearly goals and monthly, then weekly and daily and hourly. Okay? I don't know that all of them have that mindset. So that might be something that might be helpful for them if this is an area in which they're struggling. When it comes to lesson planning, you want to help them think about scaffolding instruction and using engagement strategies and collaboration strategies to help with student engagement and differentiation. And this will also help with classroom management, although they may need to explicitly teach the behaviors and expectations and how to do these strategies. There's a link to a video here that they may find helpful I think it's on understanding by design. Helping them reflect on where they are in their year-long planning. We talked about that in the last slide. And the essential standards and where are they at with their PLCs. That's a conversation. You can bring that in. Do they know what the directives are from their administrators? And also, they need to be able to reach out to their instructional coaches if they need help with things, because those instructional coaches are also a support, not just the mentors. Remember, it's not all on you guys. You're to help them, guide them through induction, and to also provide just-in-time mentoring and support. But you're not there to do it all for them. They need to be able, one, to know where to go and be resourceful to find who to go to for the questions that they have, not just you, right? And then there's a tool called the mentor-teacher collaboration log, and that's a really good tool just for recording conversations about what's going well, what do you need help with, and then what might the next steps be for you, okay? In time management, lesson planning, those are documenting conversations. If it's just an additional tool. Another tool for looking at assessments is the ASW, Analyzing Student Work Tool. And this tool is very similar to what you do in your PLCs. However, I think it digs a little bit deeper and looks at things a little bit differently than just the PLC process. Okay, so these are some strategies that hopefully can help with your mentoring with your teachers as you're going into this last stretch. I know that some of you started late and came on late, or this is your first year, but I wanted you to get some time under your belt. So now you have built the schema, right, to be able to attach these ideas to. Because when you first came in, it was a tabula rasa. We didn't have any Velcro to attach things to. So hopefully now you've got some Velcro to attach some of these ideas and concepts to. And that's it. The conversation during the live meeting was very vibrant. We talked about the rubrics that the teachers have, what the mentors who are reviewing it and what I'm looking for there. The difference between the different levels are basically, does there appear to be collaboration with the mentor? And also, does it appear to be thoughtful and reflective? And is there enough information there for the reader to be able to get a picture for what's going on? Or would it be better to have a little bit more, the more dots you have, the more clear the picture you're going to make, right? But we don't need it going on and on for pages and pages either. You don't need to do that. We don't need to read it. We just want enough information on the tool that you do collaboratively with your candidate. You do the typing, hopefully. You share it with your candidate. They upload it. They may do some typing on it themselves. You may do it collaboratively, but it needs to reflect, and the voice that is there on the paper needs to reflect the collaborative nature of your reflective conversation. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Some people were wondering, they were feeling like their teachers got dinged or this or that. If it's an 85 or 100, I wouldn't worry about it at all. If it's below, then we would like to see maybe some more information added and resubmitted. Okay? Nobody flunks induction. We do look at the holistically the whole of the work that's submitted. So one or two things isn't going to make or break. It just kind of shows us how the teacher's doing, okay? And that's kind of, I needed to be able to have that rubric in there. The state wanted to know after our site visit about how am I working to address challenging candidates who are having challenges or being they're not doing well. So this is one way to document it and to track it, but it also gives us an opportunity using that rubric to provide specific feedback to the candidate, sort of. Okay, thank you. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Please email me. Go back and make sure you do the Padlet and that you've attached your name to it so that I can see that you've followed this all the way through. Okay? Thank you very much and have a good rest of your week.